As environmental concerns arise around the globe, you may find yourself questioning what is in your products and where it comes from. For many years now, we have seen palm oil being put into more and more products around the world, including cleaning products, cosmetics, shampoo, foods, and has now become a product that is used on a daily in most things. Palm oil is an edible fat obtained from the flesh of fruits contained on palms. These trees and fruits are mostly found throughout Malaysia, and as palm oil moves into higher demand, companies start clearing out the land and many rainforests to produce more of these trees. As these lands are being cleared out, it causes much bigger problems than anyone can see. While destroying this land, you are also taking the homes and lives of the animals that live in the land. One of these animals include the Sumatran and Bornean orangutans found in Malaysia, who are now on the verge of extinction. This makes me question on if these two factors correlate with each other and if there is a quantifiable evidence to suggest that palm oil may be the reason for the drastic population decline in orangutans, therefore creating the researchable question, does palm oil consumption affect the declining population of orangutans located in Malaysia? Orangutans are large arboreal apes with long red hair, long arms, and hooked hands and feet, native to Borneo and Sumatra. They live in the rainforests of Southeast Asia. These animals are at most danger from deforestation of their homeland, as well as poaching and pet trade, leaving the estimated population at about 7,500 in 2020. Palm oil is an edible vegetable oil that comes from the fruits of oil trees. These trees are mostly found in Malaysia, with Malaysia and Indonesia containing 85% of these trees, but are native to Africa. There are two main ways in which oil can be produced from these trees: crude palm oil, which comes from squeezing the fruit, and kernel oil, which comes from crushing the kernels found in the fruit. Although palm oil is a very useful product, it is also a major drive in deforestation. Malaysia is a country located in Southeast Asia. Their economic strengths come from the mostly natural resources and commodities, and their gross national income comes in at about $301.3 billion with $10,400 per capita. They are the producers of more than half of the world's palm oil and is the net exporter of oil and gas with a gross domestic product rate at 4.3 from 2009 to 2013, producing 3.7 billion barrels of oil and 1.1 cubic meters of gas, with an average of 657,000 barrels of oil per day. While humans are destroying the natural habitat of Malaysia, we are also destroying the habitat of many animals. We have taken over so much of the rainforest that is home to so many species that many animals that live among the rainforest are now becoming close to extinction. Their homes, food, and way of life that they are used to is all being taken by one thing. Animals aren't the only ones affected. Many plants are being cut down and their habitat is being destroyed. Plant life provides humans with breathable air, and destroying them could lead to big issues arising for humans. Cutting down the rainforest is killing varieties of animals and leading them to extinction. If we don't draw the line somewhere, we could risk wiping out every species on Earth, including humans. As the population of orangutans continues to decrease, many people don't know how or why they are close to extinction and going down at such a fast rate. Many people believe that the reason for the decrease is mostly due to the fact that people are poaching them or that they are being taken captive. National Geographic, a worldwide organization that is known primarily for the production of magazines and videos about science and geography, and often does videos about species around the world. One article that focuses on the extinction of orangutans and how they are being affected makes the statement, "People are eating orangutans to extinction," meaning poaching is leading orangutans to extinction and putting that into the reader's mind, while the leading cause is actually the deforestation of the rainforest to plant and produce palm oil. Many people and companies are misinformed on what the cause of the extinction of orangutans is, and assume it is the same cause as many other animals on the extinction list: poaching. Once the research has been completed, it is believed that the consumption of palm oil throughout the rainforest of Malaysia may play a role in the population decrease of orangutans, but not as much as it is made out to be based on the data collected from annual population and consumption counts. As mentioned before, palm oil is an increasing product around the world and is grown in the same location at which orangutans live. The correlation made between the population of orangutans and palm oil consumption will determine if the hypothesis is correct. Throughout the research, it is to be established exactly what has caused the declining population of orangutans throughout Malaysia. With recent palm oil consumption rates rising and orangutan populations declining in the same area, it has brought up the question, does palm oil consumption affect the declining population of orangutans in Malaysia? The research that will be conducted is focusing on the causation of the declining population of the Bornean and Sumatran orangutans located in Malaysia, and the interacting relationships between the declining population and the amount of consumption of palm oil that is being gathered. Due to the focus on the relationship between the declining orangutan population and the consumption of palm oil, it can be determined that correlational research, which focuses on the degree to which a relationship exists between two or more quantifiable variables, would be the most permanent option for the data being obtained. To come to a conclusion of the question being asked, data must be acquired. The first variable being looked at is orangutans, while also looking at the things around them that are comparable. The first set of data that needs to be constructed is a data table on the population of orangutans throughout Malaysia from 2000 to 2016. The data can be composed by looking at the total number of orangutans located in Malaysia for each year from 2000 to 2016 and placing each year along with the total population for the area into the set. Another key factor being looked at is the amount of rainforest that is in Malaysia. The data would contain the amount of rainforest in the year 2000 and look at how much it has decreased or increased by 2016. The amount of rainforest in total around Malaysia will be looked at every year from 2000 to 2016. The second variable being observed is palm oil from the fruit of certain palms. To compare the data on how much palm oil affects the lives of orangutans, data needs to be constructed on how much palm oil is being collected. The first data that needs to be observed is the amount of rainforest that is devoted to solely planting palm oil and consumption of palm oil, and how it has either increased or decreased from 2000 to 2016, and placing the amount of oil for each year into the set. Data may also be looked at how much palm oil cost. Data would be looked at from 2000 to 2016 and comparing the years to each other to detect if the cost is increasing or decreasing. Cost decrease means the palm oil is in high demand and therefore more palm is being produced. As data for each variable has been collected, they need to be compared to see if they are correlational relationships between the two variables and if they affect each other. The data for each variable will be put into charts made by Google Sheets, and then the data will be looked upon by the researcher and other various experts. Once the data is collected, constructed, and compared, the answer to the question being asked will be clear. The next part of the presentation, I will be presenting the data that was collected from the research and the findings within it. The research being conducted is to see if the decline in the population of orangutans has been affected by the deforestation and consumption of palm oil. The data shown is significant to the research because it shows a population decrease from 2000 to 2016. The research is based on how palm oil consumption affects the population. If we are seeing a population decrease, then there must be a reason for it. Now, seeing how much damage has been done to the population, a reasoning needs to be found. In 2000, there were an estimated range of 140,000 orangutans throughout the rainforest of Malaysia. After just 16 years, in 2016, the population rapidly decreased from 140,000 to only 58,000 orangutans left in Malaysia. The population has decreased at an extremely high rate that is concerning and is believed to be as a result of human activities such as deforestation, poaching, and illegal pet trade. The next set of data shown represents the total amount of palm oil production throughout Malaysia from 2000 to 2016. Although this is not the amount of palm oil being obtained, it is in fact how much is being produced throughout the country, which is ultimately the same and better evidence of the correlation. As you can see from the data chart shown, the production of palm oil has been increasing drastically from 2000 to 2016. In 2000, with only about 18,000 metric tons being produced, to a drastic increase in 2016 to 61,000 metric tons being produced. To produce palm oil, deforestation must take place, and with so much being produced, it can be assumed that the abundance of deforestation would need to be happening to produce so much of it. By the evidence of such a high increase in production, it would be assumed that if there was to be a decrease in the population of any animal, that the production of palm oil would play a role in the cause of that. The data shown in blue represents the average cost of palm oil from 2000 to 2016. Starting in 2000, the average cost of palm oil is at about $257 per metric ton. Between 2000 to 2016, the prices vary. The prices drop and rise as the price adjusts to the needs of the people, palm oil production, and the stock market. This leaves the price at about $850 per metric ton in 2016. Although the prices do drop and rise at different rates, the overall average cost of palm oil increases over time. The red line on the graph represents the trend line of the data. This trend line shows that from the data given, the average cost increases over time. This data set is important to the research because it clearly shows that the prices were raised dramatically from 2000 to 2016, which is associated with the demand of palm oil. As the demand for palm oil increases, the prices of the palm oil will increase to make more money off of the product. As shown from the data on palm oil production and the cost of palm oil, both are rising at rapid rates. The production can only increase if more palm oil is being produced. And to produce more palm oil, more land and bigger palm farms are needed. In the data shown, you can see just how much of the land is being lost from deforestation. 100% of the land being lost is not due to palm oil, but palm oil production is the leading cause of the decrease in land, which ultimately affects the people, plants, and animals of the environment. The data in blue varies. It both increases and decreases from 2000 to 2016 as production changes. With such varieties, the data is not clear as to if the amount of land is decreasing or increasing over the years. Due to this unclearness, a trend line was applied to the data in red. This trend line shows that the 2000 to 2016 the amount of rainforest lost has increased over the years. The data provides further verification that the production of palm oil is affecting the environment and the life surrounding it. The data being obtained from each graph is to show the rates of each variable and to see if they affect each other. This data graph contains the data for both the orangutan population in Malaysia from 2000 to 2016 and the palm oil consumption data in Malaysia from 2000 to 2016. The two sets of the data are compared on the graph to see if the correlation is present between the two. These two sets are both chosen as the best representative for the variable being observed because they both clearly justify the research being made. As you can see in the graph, starting in 2000, the orangutan population rapidly decreases while palm oil production rapidly increases, up until 2016, where the data ends. It shows that the decreasing of the population continues, and so does the increase in production. By 2016, the orangutan population was at about 58,000, and the production of palm oil was over 60,000 metric tons per year. If a strong data correlation is present, then that represents the palm oil consumption does affect the orangutan population. The data set correlation came out as a strong negative 0.9729, meaning that there's a strong correlation between the two variables. The two variables being collected ultimately affect each other. Once the research was finished, the results of this study suggest that the initial hypothesis was wrong. Rather than the palm oil consumption only impacting the orangutan population minusculely, as a matter of fact, it is one of the greatest impacts of the population by far. The data provided throughout the research shows evidence of correlation between the consumption of palm oil and the declining population of orangutans, meaning that the consumption of palm oil is the main cause in the decline of the orangutan population and could ultimately be the reason for their extinction. Deforestation and the wants of human life have overpowered the need to protect the earth and the lives upon it. The future of the lives of many animals is in the hands of this generation. If the humanity is not stopped, there will come a time when not just the orangutans are extinct, as well as many of the animals around us, and possibly human life itself. Throughout the research, problems occurred with finding accurate and usable data. Although orangutan extinction is a topic that is highly talked about, finding accurate information for the years needed to complete the data was difficult, with variables being compared to the orangutan population. Palm oil data was accessible for recent years, but finding production from years between 2000 to 2006 continued to be a problem. Finding the information was hard to do, but the most difficult data to find was data on the amount of deforestation that occurred in Malaysia for that year. Only a few data sets were found, and each of them did not seem accurate, until one was found on a research paper on the deforestation of rainforest. This conclusion has multiple inclusions for the future. 1. The deforestation of the Malaysian rainforest is killing the lives of plants and animals and is evidence of the human destruction of the earth. Hopefully, this research will implement people to draw the line and start to take better care of the earth, because at this rate it is going, it will not last much longer. 2. Deforestation is putting many animals into extinction or on the extinction list. This research hopes to encourage people to think more about their actions and how it is affecting the wildlife on Earth. 3. Hopefully this research will help preserve the life of the orangutans throughout Malaysia and encourage the people and government of Malaysia to take control of this unacceptable problem. Thank you. And then this is my works cited.